It's a mailbag episode, Falcons fans. On this episode of Falcons Today by Chat Sports, welcome in real Atlanta Falcons questions to another real Atlanta Falcons fan just like myself. So before we get started on all of your important off-season questions, make sure that you are subscribed and join the ever-growing family of other Falcons fans. Take a shot for every time I've said that on this unbelievable platform. 51,000 strong and climbing. And we're going to start off with the $50 Super Chat. Kate Jones, who would be someone you would trade to pick up more draft picks? There's only two players right now that I would actually consider trading away to try and gain draft capital. The first one would be a tag and trade of Kyle Pitts. You could probably get a third-round pick, maybe squeak a second if there was a team really desperate for a tight end out of Kyle Pitts, but most likely a third. So tag and trading of Kyle Pitts, but also Darnell Mooney. I would trade Darnell Mooney for a sixth-rounder at this point and just try to make up some of that lost ground there because Darnell Mooney is not going to make or break anything on this team. And I know that there are some Darnell Mooney stands out there, but based off of what I saw last year, even with the injuries, I'm decided to move on from him. He's going to be cut, I think, coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Jarek. Moose, good to see you. Two questions. All right, a double dose of questions here. What's the update on your meet and greet? I'll answer that right now. Not coming to Atlanta until the summer. Second question. With Mac Jones's high trade value, do you see the Falcons pursuing? He's most likely going to get a second-round pick, and the 49ers have already come out and said, we really don't want to trade him, so we're probably not going to trade him. With that being said, I don't think I'd offer a second-round pick. I'd probably offer the highest a third, and I don't know that I'd be even giving up a 2026 third. It'd probably be a 2027 third. But anything's possible. I'll just stick with saying probably not. Quentin, $5 euro. Happy birthday. Could we and would you draft Malachi Fields from Notre Dame? Big target, 6'5". Got long strides, great in contested catches. Kind of reminds me of like a poor man's Drake London. I'm going to say not nearly as fast as we would like. And that, of course, has nothing to do with his 40 speed. I'm talking about extended speed downfield. I don't know that he's got the quickness and burst that you would want to see. He's more of a long stride, contested catch guy. I'll answer this question a little bit more in depth down the stretch of the offseason. Ask me again in about a month. DJ Ray, if Penix can't stay healthy, would you rather draft a quarterback in 2027? Yes, that quarterback class is going to be highlighted by C.J. Carr, highlighted by Marcel Reed, highlighted by Arch Manning. Plenty. Lenore Sellers will be in that one, Dante Moore. So, yeah, definitely 2027 draft class. But who are your top three backups for this season? I will say Jameis Winston, Jacoby Brissett, and the bottom half of that will be Joe Flacco, only because two of those guys have legitimate connections to Kevin Stefanski. Ryan Jones, happy birthday, Moose. Thank you, my friend. Should we build our identity on elite run game and stout defense, at least until we are sold on Penix? Yes, of course we should. This guy knows ball. Yes, we already have the defense. We've already got Bijan. The pieces are in place to have that kind of identity. And that's okay. We don't need a fireworks show of an offense. We need an offense that will methodically move the football, be better on third downs, be effective in the red zone, and complement what Bijan already does. I don't care for more low scoring. If you can hold teams to 17 points and score 20 every single game, you're good. That's all you need. ATL Lover. Minkah Fitzpatrick trade for Jesse Bates. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so I know it's not a majority of Falcons fans, but I will say this. I've seen way too many people get down in the comment section and talk about trading Jesse Bates. What is your obsession with wanting to move on from Jesse Bates? Did we not just unanimously agree 2 weeks ago that the best safety duo in the league was Xavier Watts and Jesse Bates? I don't think it's up for a debate at this point. It is the best safety duo. So why would you want to move on from one of the best safety duos? And I get it. Minkah's great. Minkah's a very, very good player. And just earlier today, at the time of this recording, the Dolphins have come out and said that they've been exploring trade options for Minkah. They're tearing the whole thing down to the studs. So they're going to be awful next year. Probably going to be the worst team in the NFL, if I'm being quite honest, them or the Arizona Cardinals. But I view this as just because it's out there doesn't mean it should. Well, something just happened crazy with the hockey game. But just because there's a trade rumor out there doesn't mean we need to explore it. And if I go back to 2025 stats between Watts and Bates, you can't tell me that this isn't the most elite tandem in the league, right? Like both of these guys, only 16 receptions allowed and 20 respectively. Both had very good coverage grades, multiple interceptions, multiple pass breakups. This will be a great duo moving forward. And I get it. Like I said, Minkah is also up there. He's a top 5 safety in the league. But if you've already got the best, why would you try and ruin that? If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. And that's just one of those areas that I think we don't need to go out and fix. Minkah, by the way, had a great year. I'm not denying that. 82 tackles, 4 for loss, 6 PBUs, couple of forced fumbles and 2 fumble recoveries, and a coverage grade of 78. Excellent player, no doubt about it. But why would we give up draft capital for something that we already do really well? It just does not make a lot of sense. So, I'll ask you really, really quickly, should the Falcons trade for Minkah? Yes or no? No, of course not. They should not trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick. There are plenty of other players in the NFL that I would much rather throw a draft pick at rather than Minkah. Now, before we continue on with your very important questions, and believe me, there are a lot of them, I got to tell you about our friends over at Mars Men. At the time of this recording, yep, it's my 30th birthday, my friends. Can't believe I'm saying it out loud, but here's a cool stat for you. Did you know, guys, when you turn 30 years old, your body starts to produce naturally less testosterone, and it dips about 1% every single year after that. So, unlock usable testosterone the natural way with Mars Men. Now, if you're starting to feel a little bit worn down, this is the perfect thing for you. It supports healthy T levels, energy, stamina with 8 natural clinically dosed ingredients, including vitamin D, zinc, and boron. It is made in the United States and third-party tested. There's also a 90-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. Worst-case scenario, you don't love it, and you get your money back. But over 91% of users report higher energy levels. Thousands of guys are feeling the incredible results. So for a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. It is a perfect way to kick off the new year strong. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts when you check out. After you purchase, they're going to ask, where'd you hear about us? Please support our show and let them know that Moose from Falcons Today sent you. Nintendo. What are the chances of the Falcons drafting a quarterback in the mid to late rounds? The more and more I think about it, Mike, the more and more I think probably not. And the reason I say that, maybe in like the 6th or the 7th round, just to add a little bit of extra depth at that position. But I'm going to be so for real with you. There's not enough good quarterbacks in this draft class to really waste a pick on. Now, Ian Cunningham has said that he is very willing to trade down. So maybe acquiring more draft picks on day 3 is kind of his approach here. But I probably wouldn't, if I were Ian Cunningham or Matt Ryan, explore drafting a quarterback in this draft class. I just don't think it's worth it. Dave Joseph, is there any possible way we see Willis in a Falcons jersey next season? Probably not. I wanted him bad. I really thought that there was a chance. All reports indicate that he's going to be a Miami Dolphin, or at least they're going to aggressively pursue him. The Cardinals also have interest in Malik Willis. The Steelers, I know, have some interest in Malik Willis, so probably not. I would love Malik Willis on this team. It's probably not going to happen. Simon, George Pickens, bring that attitude back to the A. I wouldn't hate the fit, and I wouldn't hate George Pickens, the talent. I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's going to be a high bidding war for George Pickens among some of the elite in the NFL, including the Denver Broncos. So I don't think they're high on the Falcons' priority list, or that Pickens has Falcons even on his radar. But anything's possible, so I won't completely credit it at all. S1, Lex. Last year, a video where you predict your top 3 breakout candidates on the roster. This year, I'd say it was Brandon Dorless, who is the top 3 breakout candidates for this coming season. Last year, I don't remember the breakout candidates. I don't remember doing that. I'd have to go back and look. I made a lot of videos, guys. 3 breakout candidates for this coming season. Billy Bowman, because I want to see him kind of boomer sooner. I'd like to see him take a step from that torn Achilles that he had and kind of showcase why he could be a Pro Bowler as well. I'd probably also say I'd like to see another step from, oh God, this is good. This is really, really good. Xavier Watts already did it. Walker already did it. Pierce already did it. And I don't know. There's a lot that I think that, you know what? Come back to me on this. Come back to me on that. Definitely Billy Bowman, though. Darkham. I know this is crazy, but signing or trading for Tua and restructuring his contract isn't a horrible idea because he is a left-handed quarterback. I don't want Tua. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want another injury-prone, concussed player that has problems with turnovers and doesn't have a very strong arm. I know he's accurate, but I don't want this whole situation. Because here's the thing. If you trade for Tua, the immediate question is, if Penix has one bad game, do you take him out and start Tua? I know every fan is going to be saying the exact same thing week 1. If Penix is starting and he plays like shit, everyone's going to be like, put in Tua. We don't need that kind of drama. Pat Norris. Thoughts on Derek Carr? I would love him as a backup, but there's a lot of indications and reports out that he's not going to play next year. He'll be a quarterback's coach. Also, the Saints own his rights, so you'd have to trade for him. Do you think the Saints are going to trade us Derek Carr? Probably not. Trucker Mike. Would you pair Woolen from Seattle with AJ, or who would be a better cornerback 2 option? I think you're going to go out and probably get Greg Newsome, but I would really explore trading for Denzel Ward. I think he'd be an excellent fit on the opposite side of A.J. Terrell, and that would be a very scary cornerback duo. And getting Billy Bowman back in the nickel would just be chef's kiss of a secondary. So probably Denzel Ward for the most ideal but most realistic, probably Greg Newsome. DJ Ray, and we'll do one more after DJ Ray, and then we'll get on out of here. What positions would you rather fill in free agency than in the draft? Free agency, I would much rather go nose tackle. I'd rather go defensive line, considering there's a much deeper defensive line class. But the draft, I'd probably rather go wide receiver. I'd probably go wide receiver in the draft. Final question from Reginald. Who is your top cornerback 2 choice in free agency? And how do you feel about Dobbs? Romeo Dobbs, I would not hate at all. He's a very versatile wide receiver. Maybe not the highest end talent, but somebody you could place all over the field. And then cornerback 2, most realistic is Greg Newsome. Most ideal is Denzel Ward. Higher end, Eric Stokes, who spent last year with the Raiders. He's probably moving on. So those are 3 options that you could realistically explore as well. That's all I got for you, Falcons fans. Thank you so much for getting your questions in. Very, very important stuff from you guys. As always, Falcons fans, rise up and be cool.